We will be talking about functions today. And when we talk about functions, well, we first need to define what it is. So here's the definition. A function f is a rule that assigns to each element x in a set A exactly one element, called f of x, in a set B. Okay, so that's a pretty simple explanation, but to break it down for you, if you look at the two pictures that I have here at the bottom, I have two groups of pictures. On the left, I have what I call the domain, and on the right, I have what I call the range. And that's true for both of these examples down here at the bottom. Okay, now, notice that in the picture on the left, well, each item in the domain goes to one item in the range, which that's perfectly fine. Okay, this is a function. Alright, because I want you to notice that every domain item goes to exactly one range item. Okay, but let's look at the picture on the right. Okay, so looking at the picture on the right, you notice something that's a little different. Okay, well, what is it exactly here? I notice that this top value here, and I just put dots, but they could be letters, they could be numbers. So I looked at this top value and noticed that that same value maps to two items in the range. This right here is an issue, so let me highlight that and draw that out for you. Okay, so this right here is not a function. Okay, this is not a function, and simply because of the fact that if we look at our definition again, a function is a rule that assigns to each element in x in a set A exactly one element called f of x in a set B. Okay, so that being said, well, what if we change this scenario? Okay, what if we change this scenario just a little bit? What if, okay, we had 2 points there, and I could have this x mapped to this one, this value in y, the range, or I can have this value in x map to this same value. Well, that's still a function. Okay? Every item in the domain can map to the same item in the range if it really wanted to, and it would still be a function. However, again, when we look at this case right here, alright, we have an item in the domain mapping to two items in the range, and that is not possible. That would not be a function. So I hope that you've understood this concept here. Now let's take a look at some examples where we can apply this. Okay? So here are some examples. Decide whether the relation defines a function. Again, remember that in order for it to be a function, alright, each item in the domain, the x value in this case, must map to a y value. Okay? You cannot have a repeated x value. So let's take a look here. Alright? Let's take a look. Let me draw it with my pen. There's -3. I don't see any -3s anywhere else. Okay? 1, I don't see any 1s anywhere else. Okay? 5, no 5s anywhere else. 9, no 9s anywhere else. And 12, I don't see any 12s anywhere else. So each x maps to a y. Alright? Now you might notice right here, and let me highlight that this 2 and this 2 are repeated. Okay? But that's not an issue. Okay? Because the issue is where the x value maps to more than one. That does not define a function, but in this case we're good. In this case we're good. Okay? So does this define a function? And the answer is going to be yes. Yes, it does. Okay, so the answer for this first question is yes. Alright? Now let's look at the next one. Right here in the bottom, we have a mapping. Alright? 4 goes to 5, 7 goes to 8, 12 goes to 13. Okay? Every item in the domain goes to one item in the range. The domain items don't go to multiple values rather. So does this define a function? Yes, again. Okay. Now let's look at the next case. All right. So when we look at the next case, what do we see? Well, we know we've got some students, Bob, Susan, Jim, and Bruce, and they've got their test scores. Well, they all took the same test, right? Each item maps to a grade. Yes, each name maps to a grade. Okay? We don't have multiple grades for the same student. So in an example, Bob didn't both get a 90 and an 85. Okay? That wouldn't make any sense anyway. Okay? They only took the test once. So does this define a function? And the answer here is yes. Okay? This does define a function because each individual student took the test once and they each have a test grade. So I hope this clarifies what we mean by defining a function and some really good examples.